All right, so now we are live on YouTube. Okay, so welcome to everybody to another week. I'll open us up in prayer. All right, Father God of grace, mercy, and love, we thank you for another week, God, that has you have brought us through, God. For some of us, this week has been a lot, God. So we thank you for getting us to this day, God, to the end of the week, God. Now, God, as we prepare to study your word, God, help open our minds and open our ears for what you have for us tonight. Help us continue to grow in our relationships. God, give us what we need and we stand in need of right now, God, for you know what it is. It is in your son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Awesome. So this week, well, first off, let's recap last week. Last week we obviously talked about how love is not jealous, right? And so we looked at how in relationships, there's two jealous. You have the legitimate jealous, and then you have the illegitimate jealous. And we talked about the differences between the two. Obviously, you have where you're struggling. You have that dangerous part of illegitimate jealousy. Sorry. What else? Help me out.
You can skip to the dare part. So last week the dare was to.
But also, let me just say this: we talked about how in a relationship last week, you don't compete. You don't compete with your significant other.
You're their biggest fan.
You're their biggest fan. You're their cheerleader. So yeah, but go ahead.
So it said, determined to become your spouse's biggest fan, and to reject any thought of jealousy. To help you set your heart on your spouse and focus on their achievements, take yesterday's list. That's from week 7, actually, when we created a positive attribute list and a negative attribute list. So we already did something with the positive attribute list, but last week we were supposed to take the negative attribute list and burn it. And then it said, it asked questions. Was it hard for you to destroy this list? It said with the positive attributes, because it was a positive verb and the negative verb. And they called it something else though, but we weren't supposed to stay in the negative verb. We were only supposed to go into the negative verb to find things to pray for your significant other for. So now it's telling you to destroy that list, because we was all wondering what we was going to do with the negative list, because some of us couldn't wait to get to some topics on the negative list. But we were supposed to burn a negative list. And it wasn't hard for me to destroy the negative list, because I never really created the negative list, because nothing has really been bothering me like that. And I didn't want to sit up here and think of things that was really getting on my nerves or bothering me to cause some issues. So I didn't have a problem burning the negative list because I never even made it. It also says that you're supposed to. What are some positive experiences that you can celebrate in your life of your mate? So that one was easy. I would say the way you juggle work, the boys, the household, all at one time throughout the week, and I'm at work. And then when I come home, you still make time for me as well. So I think you do a really good job with that, as well as some of the things that you had to deal with school this week too. I think you handled that really, really well. You were positive about those situations, and you weren't negative. You just went in there and dealt with it and just kept it moving.
I appreciate that. I was gonna say, for the negative list that we had to destroy, it wasn't hard to destroy because I didn't create a list to destroy. I didn't want to stay in that depreciation room.
That's what it was called.
And so, so what I wrote down was that I could celebrate that when your back is against the wall, you keep your faith. When your back is against the wall, you have a lot of challenges with work and things like that, and you don't allow that to get the best of you. I see the difference. I see the growth and how how you've tried to alter it and try to not allow the things that happen at work to crush you down, like put you down and everything. So you get, I definitely see your faith growing. So keep doing that, you know, and putting that work in. And I even, when, you know, think about that, even when you start your learning facility, you know, one day you will start it, right?
Yes.
And so, think about that, you know, how, you know, your growth and keep that, because there's going to be many obstacles that you'll have, you know, and at the end of the day, just know like, hey, look, I know God is with me and you got a family right here that supports you and everything like that. And having a good support system is huge. It's big. It's key.
Definitely.
In order to make sure that whatever, you know, you want to support your significant other in what they do, because you don't want that friction and you don't want them to feel like they're not loved or anything like that.
Like you already got to deal with stuff at work, and then I got to come home and deal with this too.
Exactly. Which leads us to tonight. Love makes good impressions. We're on page 41. Again, for those who are new, we're studying the Love Dare book.
Instead of taking it day by day, we're taking it week by week.
Week by week, exactly. Exactly. And you said this is week number 9?
Week 9. Yes.
Awesome. So this week's scripture comes from 1 Peter 5:14. It says, greet one another with a kiss of love. All right. Greet one another with a kiss of love. Think about this real quick. This morning when you woke up, did you give that person a kiss? Did you give that person a hug? Before they left the house this morning, did you say, hey, I just want to tell you I love you. Can't wait to see you when you get home. Did you?
I did kiss you.
I know.
I kissed you when we woke up. Oh, you didn't wake up. You were asleep when I left.
I was asleep. I was trying to sleep, but I had a little kid in my bed.
Okay.
Jeez. Anywho, but one thing I will say that, you know, you've done, and this is even, you know, because I can't go back to the past. I don't want to go back to the past. But I will say, since we got back together and rekindled our fire, reconciliated, right? I will say that you know, every morning you make sure before you leave the house, we kiss each other. You give me a kiss. I could be sleep, knocked out.
Drool on the face.
Drool all over my face. My morning breath. But one morning I did wake up and I smelled your morning breath. I just smelled it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is too much for me. Gosh, but you kissed me. I'm joking. But, you know, that I appreciate that. It shows that, you know, I'm spitting here and drooling and all that stuff over here. But it just showed that, you know, one, that you have appreciation for me. You have appreciation for the relationship, and you want to see us grow. You want us to, you know, obviously keep that fire going. One of the quickest ways to end up where the fire doesn't keep going is if we don't continue to show that love to that person. If we don't continue to keep making good impressions with that person. And so making sure that we wake up every morning, not with the attitude, don't worry about what happened the day before, but moving on and saying, you know what, I'm just happy to wake up next to you and kiss you on the cheek, or just smile at your face, or just, you know, offer some words of encouragement, so that then you already know they probably gonna have hell when they get to work. But if you give them that word of encouragement before they leave, or just a simple kiss, man,
simple gesture.
Just a simple gesture. Look at what that could do for that person.
When I saw it, like, love makes good impressions, and I was reading it, you know, how you greet your significant other, and I was like, you know, when it was saying, does it really make that big of a difference? But I know if it doesn't happen, that would cause a huge issue. Like, I would have a problem. Like, you left the house, you didn't even say bye to me, you didn't kiss me bye or anything. And don't let us be disagreeing, and one person does not leave the other person by saying bye or I love you. That makes the argument even worse. Whatever we were arguing about will go out the door, and I'll just be mad at the fact that you didn't tell me bye. You didn't tell me I love you when you left. Like, you're that mad that you don't love me no more? And that's not even what we're really fighting about. But it can mean so much. It's something so small that can mean like so much.
Exactly. And, you know, even Paul, when the writer talks in the third paragraph, he talks about how Paul was very big on greetings, even Paul. And he taught his readers, you know, to encourage each other warmly. When you come meeting with each other, you want to greet one another with a warm kiss, a warm hug. That's what Paul taught, you know. And so to the Romans, in his letter to the Romans. And so a greeting is super important, no matter who it is. Some of y'all greet y'all friends or other people that more than you, people off the street that you don't know, more than you do with your significant other. So that is super important, man. Keep that fire going. And it's super important. One thing he says is it's super important to greet that person, to show that love to that person.
But it's like, it's not just significant others. We also say how this book is for any relationship. So if you leave your household,
yeah,
and you don't say bye to your parent or to your children, and then not even if something happens or something doesn't happen, but if it does, like, you didn't even say bye to them. You didn't say I love you to them or anything. Like, before I leave the house, I mean, all three of them can be knocked out. I will kiss every last one of them and tell them I love them. Granted, they don't know, but I know that I did it. I mean, I've seen people haven't seen their kid all day and on the phone when they pick them up. They're not even concerned. They're not even worried. Just kind of like nonchalant, like, oh, hey, come on, get your stuff. Like, when I would pick my kids up, I remember pulling up to the school, seeing Jordan, I'm waving like a stalker, like, hi, how are you? He probably like, Mom, you're doing too much.
Embarrassing him.
Whatever, I don't care. And then CJ, like, he would hide every single time, but I could not wait to see them. And then even when we leave, we say bye. We say I love you. Like, it is a must. Jordan will hang up the phone on FaceTime without even saying bye to me. I will call that boy right back up and be like, bye, I love you. You don't want to tell your mom? He'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, Mom. Bye, I love you.
Yeah. Even those times when you don't even hear me, and you think I hang up, and then you'll call right back.
No, I text you. I love you. I text you. I said I love you.
I said I love you too. You just can't hear. You gotta clean the wax out your ear.
Okay. Somebody wanna wait. Apparently I'm deaf now.
So look. He said. So the question I want to ask is, towards the end of this the fourth paragraph. I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth paragraph. He says this raises an interesting question when he's talking about how many people show more greetings and more love to their neighbors, to their enemies, rather, more kindness to their enemies. He says this raises an interesting question. How do you greet your friends, coworkers, and neighbors? How about acquaintances and those you meet in public? I know it can be hard sometimes.
But before then, he says, but he took it a step further and said that being godly included being humble and gracious enough to address even your enemies with kindness. That's when, if we're button heads, you still say, I still say bye, I love you. But we're not enemies. It might be somebody at work. Lord knows. Sometimes when I go to work, I do not want to speak. But I was always taught it does not hurt to say good morning. It does not hurt to speak. Because if I don't, then it becomes I'm the issue, I'm the problem, even though I might not be the one causing the main issue, but because I didn't come in and say hello, it's, oh, Dominique didn't speak to us this morning. No, it's not that at all. So yes, please speak to your enemies. You don't have to be extra about it. A simple good morning, hello, and keep it moving.
Your spouse, your significant other, your parent that you're trying to get a closer relationship with, they deserve that same type of respect, that you would give to your enemy, someone off the street, the friend that you have in, that you that girlfriend that you want to get back with, that boyfriend you want to get back with, co-worker, like you just said, you have to set the tone, set the example. What I would say is be the mature one. Even if you guys is spiteful to, something happened, and you feel, they did something to you and now it's chaos over the situation. You take the steps, the mature steps, and show that, hey, look, I'm going to offer you grace and I'm just going to say hi to you.
No matter what.
No matter what. No matter how bad it is, how tough it is, whatever. I'm going to still say hi to you. I'm going to still acknowledge you.
And sometimes it does. Like,
and it's hard.
I don't always want to be the bigger person. Sometimes I feel like I'm being a doormat by giving in first or being the one to still to speak or say hello. And my coworker's like, no, that's your faith growing, or I try to go off to be petty and she'll stop me. But like Joel Osteen, she always stopping me in the middle of something when I really want to go and be just as petty as they're being. But, but I'm like, why do I have to do this? And she'll be like, because your growth, your faith is growing. Like, you're getting better. And I'm like, I don't feel like I'm getting better. Me speaking when I didn't really want to speak, when you were super rude to me and you don't know how to talk to me.
Yeah. You might not notice it, but other people notice it.
Yeah, she does notice it, but I still feel like I'm being like a doormat.
Because
like I'm being a sucker.
It's a test. It's a test. I mean, we will get tested. That's a test of our faith, right? Mm. We always get tested. Lord knows. We all get tested, right? Look, on the second page, I'm going to turn to the second page, go to the second paragraph towards the end. He says, but here's something else you probably don't stop to consider. The difference it would make if your spouse, in your spouse's day, if everything about you expressed the fact or significant other that you were really, really glad to see them. I remember the other day. No, it was yesterday. It was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. So I'm not gonna tell what happened at work. I'm not gonna tell that. But I will say yesterday was a crazy day. I had a situation I had to handle and deal with that happened in my class. And it was difficult to handle it. But I called you at like she wasn't even on lunch yet, and I called her. And I was just like, you won't believe what happened today. I had to stop class early for this. You won't believe this. So I told you what it was or whatever. And
was that the first time when I said
yes? I was excited. I wanted to tell you what happened. I was like, you gotta hear this. Because
granted, you ended your class, but my class was not done. My class was still eating lunch.
I wasn't thinking.
So I answered the phone like, yes, husband. I mean, and you're like, why did you answer the phone that way?
Right. I was like happy to talk to you. But at the same time, you gotta know this story right here. This.
But I was like, you had to wait because, if you tell a story right now and my students can hear the story, who knows what they'll repeat. So, I'm used to CJ being the one who calls me around that time, not you. I was surprised you called. I'm thinking to myself, like, don't you know the kids are still eating right now?
Yeah. So what happened was I tried to tell you, but anyway, you ended up saying, hey, I'll call you back later. And we talked about it. Then later on that day, we because I don't like texting throughout the day like that. But like I said before, always check up on that person. Offer a text and a comment. We got a comment. Offer a text and all that good stuff.
Oh, she said virtually long distance relationship.
We had distance between our texting, whatever. So you text me and I was like, hey, I can't wait to see you. That was today? Mm-hmm. It was yesterday too. I feel like yesterday I told you that too. It doesn't matter.
I remember.
All I know is I texted you that and you were happy and excited that I did that. Even sent me a nice little emoji thingy.
No, gift.
The gift. Yes. The gift. I'm still trying to get used to this iPhone stuff. So anyway, but yeah.
Androids have gifts too, Christian.
Androids do have gifts, but I don't like texting like that. So look, you sent me that and that made you happy. That was like making your day, right?
Yes, it made me feel special.
And sometimes I will say, like when you text me and say, hey, I can't wait to get home to y'all. Even though sometimes I'm like, all right, if you come home, that means are you going to just chill out and not do anything? Like, what does that mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? But all I'm saying.
I have stuff to do.
I love the fact, when you do that, I do love that. Reason being, what I'm trying to get at is, you want to make sure, like I said a couple weeks ago, that you reach out to that person, you text that person, you just let them know throughout their day, hey, look, I just can't wait. Simple gesture. I just can't wait to see you when you get off. You might be pulling a double shift, but I can't wait to see you when you get off. That right there, you don't understand what that can do for that person, the effects it plays. Might not mean a lot to you, but you never know what it can mean to that person and how it will move them forward throughout their day.
I think it was Chris Rock who said, back in the day, there were no cell phones and stuff. So when your significant other left out the house in the morning, you wouldn't see them all day. You wouldn't know if something happened to them or if they were dead or what. You wouldn't know until they got home till later that day. So imagine leaving a negative impression with a person all day and not being able to talk to them because maybe you couldn't call them at work.
Right.
Until they came home. So all day long, this was on their mind, this was on your mind. So if anything, we really need to leave good impressions when we see each other, when we leave each other, and when we greet each other as well. Because I know sometimes when I come home, it's my tone. I've had a special day. I want to get in the house, wash my hands, take the coronavirus clothes off, everything else off. And then I do want to start getting into whatever needs to be done around the house. And you do want me to just relax at times when I'm like, no, stuff has got to be done. I got to do things. And then something will happen. I think I asked you something in a tone yesterday. Like, where did all these clothes come from? You were like, the basket. I'm thinking to myself, how could all these clothes have been in this basket? I didn't even put my clothes in here. You were like, this was everything out of the one basket. And I noticed from the minute I had a tone, your whole attitude changed.
First of all, I didn't know it was my stuff. I didn't know all my stuff was in that basket.
It wasn't just all of your stuff. It was the boy stuff. It was some of our stuff mixed together, but I knew I had a whole other coronavirus bag of clothes in the corner somewhere. So I was like, this, including all the comforters too. I was thinking to myself, like, how did like 2 weeks of laundry get so big? Like, how did it grow so much? But I had a tone. And I noticed the minute that my tone changed, his whole demeanor changed. And I was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm sorry I took a tone. I'm sorry. I appreciate you separating the clothes and getting all the stuff together. CJ
I was like,
so
I did all
happy.
that hard work. And you say, I'm joking.
Put the clothes in.
But look, check this out, though. He says this in the next paragraph. He says, when someone communicates that they are glad to see you, your personal sense of self-worth increase. You feel more important, more valued. That's because a good greeting sets the stage for positive and healthy interaction, right? And so I think that's important. I think, you got to understand, you're like all right, besides God, it's like you're the next person, but most important person in that person's life. And so you do set that tone of encouragement for me. Like, help build me up. I feel weak. You need that. You help encourage me. I don't feel like getting up to go to work today. Help encourage me. My best friend, they got a good relationship with their mother. How can I get a better relationship with my parent? Offer that child that advice, that loving care that they need from that parent. Like I said, everything in this book goes hand in hand for all relationships.
Especially with some people who are still like not at work and the kids are home too. Everybody's all in the same house. Yes, let's set a good stage, a good environment, because we're all in here all day. Not like you can go to too many places with them germs out there. So they tell you real quick, coronavirus, you in the house. Like you gotta make it work. You gotta be the one, like you said, the bigger person. And it's not always fun, but it's gonna make such a big difference. And that's the biggest part, is making the little thing making such a big difference in the atmosphere, in someone's day, in your own personal life. Set yourself up for success. Don't say something or do something that's going to cause hours of excruciating pain and arguments and whatnot.
With the prodigal son, he mentions the story about the prodigal son. Obviously, the prodigal son, back in Luke chapter 15, he lived a lavish lifestyle. He left home to go live a lavish lifestyle and all that good stuff. He wanted the fancy stuff in life.
He demanded his inheritance.
Yes, he wanted it, right? But the thing is, and I'm not going to tell the whole story because of time, but when he came back home, his dad, just offered grace to him, love to him, support to him, compassion for him. And he ran to him and embraced him, right? Embraced him. And I think that's key, because you want to make sure that even when that person comes home, you want to embrace them. You want to show that there is some safety net there. You want to show that there's compassion there. If the world is giving you hell, know when you come home, know when we talk on the phone, know when I go to your house or whatever, know that there's compassion there. Know that when we have an interaction, there's compassion there. And I think that was the key point there, right?
When I first heard the story, I just knew like the father was just going to dig in on him. Like, you wanted your inheritance, you got it, and you wasted it. Now you want to crawl back home. Yeah, you can come stay here for a while, but you got to live here under my rules like you did before. You got extra stuff to do, but no, none of that. And then the other brother was over there waiting like, oh, so he gets a party?
Yeah.
He gets fine robes and rings after everything he did? Oh, I know he was shady.
The thing is, when he came back, and here's what I want you to look at. When he came back, and his father was able to embrace him and make him feel better and received him. The key thing is he felt love. He felt love. He felt treasured again, as the author says. I love that, and I think that's key.
That sounds like some agape love right there.
That is
like the love God gives you.
That is. You know, it's like when we talked about a couple of weeks ago. You know, you don't stay in that depreciation room and come shooting your ammos later on. You know, his father could have shot ammos like you just said, but he didn't. You know, he still offered grace and love. Exactly. He asked a series of questions here on page 43. He says, what kind of greeting would you make your mate feel like that? I'm gonna ask this question. What kind of other greetings besides a kiss to someone who, you know, got a parent out there they want to get close with and stuff like that? What are some other greetings that we can do to still show those impressions of love? And feel free, you know, to chat with us on Zoom too.
I don't know, maybe.
Hey, I think something that's good is maybe sending like a motivational or something encouraging. Maybe if you're reading something on like a Bible app, or if you're just reading something inspirational, or you know they're like working towards something, sending them information that you think will be helpful. I think that shows like you care about what they're into, or you thought about them. That could be another gesture.
Most definitely.
That's really nice.
Most definitely. I know when we first started dating, I used to send like little, you know, positive messages and stuff like that. When we first started dating, way back, this some years ago. You don't remember that? See, all that hard work, you don't even remember. I used to get up early in the morning.
I remember the notes you would write me. I kept those.
Well, you kept the notes, but the text that I used to send
because
positive.
Are you sure?
Words of
Chris,
encouragement.
You got up so
and
early.
Motivation.
No, you got up
I got up so early.
And you didn't have your phone on you all day. So I really don't think that you.
I made sure I did it before I got out my car.
Okay. Well, that was very nice of you. Thank you.
She don't remember. I feel some type of way now. But yeah, no, though that's key. I think that's definite because I definitely agree with that because sometimes, you know, even though that person's not there, just to look at your phone and see a nice little smiley face or, you know, some nice words of encouragement, that can motivate you throughout the rest of your day.
Definitely. Like my homegirl Jasmine, you know, we're both in the childcare environment, and she was sending me all the emails from MSDE. You know, it was coming from the state. Every Tuesday she would get it and she would forward the emails to me, which was really nice because I like to be up to date on what's going on and make sure, you know, I'm on top of my P's and Q's and doing everything I need to be doing as far as us being out in this COVID world with the children. And if not, she also drew a picture of a shark and sent it to me today too, because we love the shark movies. It's like Shark Week somewhere. And she just sent me the picture she drew with the children with the shark. And it brought the biggest smile on my face because I knew exactly what movie it was. Just something so small, a simple little gesture can make somebody say. So I completely agree with that part.
So he says, obviously, how could you excite his or her various senses, such as a simple word, touch, tone, voice? So yeah, like we just talked about. This is what I mentioned. I took note in this earlier. So he says, when saying goodnight, when talking on the phone, how are you showing a gesture on a regular basis? This old man I used to work with, God bless his soul. He told me that he makes it a habit, no matter how mad him and his wife get at each other, they do not go to sleep at night without telling each other they love each other. I think that's super important.
That can be really difficult.
It can, but sometimes you gotta swallow it. You just gotta swallow the pill. It's like a hard swallow.
I'm not saying it can't be done, but sometimes it's like
if you love a person,
if you're in your feelings deep,
yeah.
You're out here. I'm in there, which means one of us is gonna have to come into the other room And just like, hey,
you have to, and it's about one, maturity, right? But also it's just about, again, do we want the devil? We know what the devil comes to do, but do we want him to tear down what we're trying to build up? We gotta keep moving forward. We're not gonna agree all the time. We're gonna have differences, but at the same time, we have a common goal that we share. We're trying to move forward in our relationship and build a strong relationship. This is some time. We've invested in this. We put some serious time in this. We're not gonna let some argument or disagreement tear it all apart and just bring it down. Yeah.
And just consistently doing something like, and that's what I put for mine too, when it asks, where could you change like a greeting? Mine was nighttime. Because I think a lot of times I do fall asleep and I don't tell you good night. You're out here, you fall asleep or you're watching TV still, or I say I'm watching TV and I'm really just falling asleep to whatever it is I picked. And then you wait till I fall asleep and change it. But that's what I want to work on, like the good nights. Because I do the good mornings,
Yeah.
and then when we get off the phone or when we get on the phone, but we don't do the good nights, which is really sad because just like in, a good night's sleep, you could not wake up. So
yeah,
it would be really
sometimes,
nice.
but sometimes I do kiss you on the cheek in the middle of the night. You don't even know.
You do sometimes. The last time you scared me.
Yes, we'll go like, like.
No, I woke up swinging because I had just fell right back asleep.
Throwing bows in the middle of the night, like what?
Because I didn't know what that was.
Look, because he pressed for time. He says, just to sum this up, think about your greeting. Always have a greeting for your significant other, for your that parent, that that strange relationship, that boyfriend, that girlfriend,
your
coworker. Choose to love. Don't choose to hate. Choose to love. Offer, show your love by how you, by your impressions, how you express your impressions. Offering you, like I said, a hug, a kiss, or like Deborah said, a simple, note, something like that. Show them that you care. I think that's super important. Make their day. Make them feel special. Again, you have to remember that you are like the second most important thing in that person's life, depending on their relationship with God. And so you want to make sure you make their day. Make them feel important. Like almost to the point where I'm the only person in the world that matters. Make them feel important. Make them feel like they're valued in life and not taken for granted or anything like that, but that they are valued and that they are a precious stone that means a lot to you.
I think sometimes it's how you view this. So it depends on, like, if you're a competitive person, put it in this mindset. Be the first one to like send a positive message. Be the first one to kiss. If you're team petty like me, it's a work in progress, and it's time to be the one to apologize or to come and say goodnight no matter what, and you're mad, I'll be the mature one here. And even though we're disagreeing, I'll still tell you goodnight and kiss you. Like that. It's just all on like your take on how you see things, Put your own little twist on it, but at the end of the day, you still need to greet your significant other, your loved ones.
And it doesn't have to be exactly, and it doesn't have to be something that takes a lot of thought. Again, a simple gesture. You don't have to put too much thought into it or too much time into it and things like that. When we first started dating, I would try to outbeat myself on every date, everything I did. After a while, you don't have to do that. You just show them that you love them. Just show them that you care. And I'm speaking to the fellas on this one. Just show. All right, this week, anything else? Mm-hmm. Anybody have anything else they want to add? All right, so this week's challenge, it says, or this week's dare, think of a specific way you'd like to greet your spouse, significant other, family member, co-worker, child. Think about a specific way you like to greet them this week. Do it with a smile. Do it with enthusiasm. Then determine to change your greeting to reflect your love for them. Sorry, man. I think that's a good, nice little challenge there. Nice little easy one in a way.
It depends on.
Relationship.
It definitely depends on the relationship, because if with you, like I said, I'm gonna work on the nighttime one. But then it's like, and with the children, that's easy too. But then if it's like, oh, some coworker, it's a little different. That's something I'm gonna have to work on. Being enthusiastic, which I have to next week. I said, which I don't have to next week.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, caring. Show them that you care. Show them that they, like I said, make their day. Make them feel important. Make them feel valued in your life. I think that's key. And sometimes you have to move out of your own way. In order to see something become fruitful, in order to see something become better, you want to make sure that you think positive. Don't go in with a negative spirit, negative thoughts. Always, approach the situation as a positive thing. Like something's good gonna come out of this. I'm going to start something. I'm going to try to show, that I care. I'm going to show that, hey, look, I know we had disagreements in the past, but I want to make this a better relationship for both of us, and not allow the devil to win in this situation.
And being enthusiastic doesn't mean that you're being fake. It just means you're trying your best. You're trying it with like a different little spin on it. That's all. Because sometimes I feel like, well, if I go in somewhere and I really don't mean this greeting, but I'm going to do it, I can simply say like, oh, good morning. And you're like, good morning. Instead of like saying it, mumbling it, just speak clearly. Maybe make eye contact this time. Yep. Good morning. A little smile. And keep it moving. It doesn't have to be something, oh, good morning. When you really don't like them like that.
I think just going in there with the right attitude.
Being genuine.
And being genuine from the heart. Like I said earlier, it can be tough. It can be difficult. And it's definitely a challenge. But it's also a challenge to see how willing you are to grow. And better this relationship, whatever that relationship may be. Amen. Awesome. So, I didn't go over my time tonight. We started late.
I'm so proud of you.
Jeez.
Well, this one it seemed a little easier, even though something small.
Straightforward.
But the one last week, that was real, that jealousy one. That one got a little heated, Everybody had a lot to say about that one, which was really good. And it made me think about how we were talking at the end and how, we look forward to doing this. And Deborah was saying how transparent, like, the conversation is. We're all open about what's going on, in our lives. Because, we're all here to better a relationship.
Yeah. So
there shouldn't be, like, any shame in it.
Yeah. Next week, our discussion will be love is unconditional. I know the first week we talked a little bit about unconditional love. So next week we will have a couple on, a guest, seasoned couple. My mom's been on here before, but my dad is going to be joining us this time, hopefully. So next week we're gonna have a little fun with that. Other than that, love is unconditional. Please join us again next week. Bring a friend. Share it with your love bug and all that good stuff. I'm going to put the challenge up for this week on the Facebook page as well as the Instagram page as well.
YouTube. You can put it on YouTube too. Under the video? Yeah.
We'll see. But next week, I look forward to seeing you all. Love you. Peace and love. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you, Shaquita, for joining with us on Zoom. Those on Instagram, Facebook, we love you. Thank you for your support and joining us. And those on YouTube. I can't. Why do I always forget the people on YouTube?
Because it's new and it's in the corner, tiny. And next time I'm gonna put a card here with everybody, so you know.
All right. Peace and love. Have a good week. We'll see you again next week. God bless.
Bye.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.